Jorge Masvidal has once again fired shots at Conor McGregor, claiming that the Irishman is avoiding a fight with him. In a recent interview with MMA Fighting, Masvidal claimed a fight between him and the Notorious would turn out to be the biggest event in UFC history. However, Gamebred said that Conor McGregor is not interested in fighting him as the Irishman knows it would not play out well for him.
Occasionally, he'll probably just insult my mom or some relative of mine or my nation where I come from. He'll say something like that, but he won't say anything about a fight or a fight date. So the Conor thing is like he just wants it to I just hope it goes away because he really doesn't want to fight. He doesn't say anything. Obviously, it's maybe the biggest pay-per-view fight in history as far as UFC goes. I think we'd shatter all numbers, all previous records, but this guy for some reason doesn't entertain him. Money doesn't entertain him, though, will make him want to get out of his bed. I think the only thing that makes him want to get out of his bed is cocaine, and that's okay. Every man has a free will. You can do whatever you want, but don't say you're a fighter, and then don't take cheap shots at me too. Especially the things that he be saying, talking about my legal problems and this and that. Like, you're a fucking pussy. We could do it man to man in the cage and just once and for all figure it out and get paid a handsome reward while doing it. So that this individual doesn't want to do it lets you know he knows what's gonna happen.
Rockhold recently shared his thoughts on his upcoming fight against Paulo Costa. The former middleweight champion will square off against Paulo Costa at UFC 278. Rockhold will return to action after a 3-year absence and is expected to go all out against the Brazilian to mark his comeback.
I really truly think I can make this fight look easy. If I go out there and I fight present, not focused on anything else and just letting myself go, and I get that flow state, I'm gonna smoke this fool. He's just too tit for tat. He's just too bulky. He looks for breaks. And if I just execute, I take my time, I'd be patient, I'm gonna finish him. He wants to go kick for kick or whatever he wants to do from the outside. He can't reach me on the outside, and he's fucked if we go to the ground.
Israel Adesanya recently shared his take on Joakim Buckley's viral knockout win. Buckley recorded arguably the best knockout in UFC history when he flatlined his opponent in an acrobatic manner. The move took over social media and immediately went viral.
It went full viral, and this is not me trying to take credit. All I'm saying is I was doing that move in 2010, but when I was doing it, I was pushing off my sparring partners, so I wasn't able to land the kick. But when I watched him do it, he didn't push off them like backwards. He pushed on his hand while he was caught the kick. Like the guy caught the kick and then he jumped off his hand and spin kicked him. Yeah, he landed that nicely. That was one I was like, man, he hit that. And yeah, congrats to him.
Former UFC middleweight champion Rockhold firmly believes that he's the only middleweight capable of beating Israel Adesanya.
Of him as champion.
I think Izzy's a great champion. I think he's a good character. I like Izzy. I'm not gonna lie. I want to fight him for sure. I think he wins this fight. I mean, Jared Cannioner throws hard. He could hit a leg in the wrong spot. You never know, or hit something wild. But I think Izzy's range and his dynamicness is going to be too much. Jared tried to take him down. He doesn't have enough solid top game to hold him.
Dana White has admitted that he had no idea about Conor McGregor's recent post hinting at a rematch against Floyd Mayweather Jr. The UFC president confessed he has no interest in seeing the fight.
He seems to have accepted the rematch on social media with Floyd Mayweather. Anything to that, or is that just people talking?
That's definitely people talking.
No interest at all, though, to see that again?
I have less than zero interest in seeing that again.
Michael Bisping recently analyzed the upcoming middleweight title bout between Israel Adesanya and Jared Cannonier and predicted the fight will go the distance. Bisping spoke on an episode of the Believe You Me podcast on YouTube. He picked Adesanya to come out on top in his next title defense at UFC 276 this Saturday.
So Jared is going to take his time, and that's what he did against Anderson, and he's going to look to counter. Listen, we know in the past, when two guys have been counter fighters with Yoel Romero and Israel Adesanya, it wasn't the most action-packed fight, okay? It wasn't, but Israel being the champion that he is, he's not going to rush. He's going to take his time. He's going to be calculated. That is what he is. Israel Adesanya is a calculated killer. There's method to everything that he does. There is strategy involved all the time. And then sometimes when he explodes, it's just good old-fashioned violence. Now, the prediction. I'm saying a lot, but I'm not saying much at the same time. I think Adesanya is going to win the fight.
Chael Sonnen believes a lot of factors will favor Max Holloway going into his UFC 276 title fight against Alexander Volkanovski. According to the American Gangster, Holloway's best weapon being his massive output will only meet competition against the great.
Where does Max sit? And age-wise, a lot of things are on Holloway's side. A lot of stuff that you couldn't get away with as an older or more seasoned fighter. And I only bring that to you because it would seem to me we're going to see a very different fight between Holloway and Volkanovski. And one thing that we've always favored Holloway with is his ability for pace. That he can throw more at you than your opponent. The one time that that's going to get pushed back on is with Volkanovski.
Dominance MMA Management CEO Ali Abedlize has sent a stern warning to former lightweight champion Charles Oliveria, who will fight next for the vacant 155 pounds title after he was stripped for missing weight at UFC 274, is yet to have a confirmed opponent for a title bout expected later this year. Nate Diaz and Khamzat have traded barbs in the recent past regarding a much-discussed potential fight. UFC honcho Dana White recently revealed that Diaz had actually accepted the fight against Khamzat. According to White, Diaz refused to take the fight after initially accepting it. Additionally, the UFC boss stated that the matchup hasn't come to fruition yet due to a multiplicity of reasons. Dana White recently said on the Jim Rome Show,
A guy, Khamzat Chimaev, tweeted at Nate a few weeks back, quote, "You're not ashamed to open your mouth at all. You refuse to fight 10 times." End of quote. Clearly no love lost between these two guys. Dana, did Nate turn down a fight with him? And if so, what was his reason?
Did he turn down a fight with him? To be honest with you, right here off the top of my head, this thing is played out back and forth so many different ways. Yes, we tried to make that fight. He wanted the fight and he didn't want the fight. But Nate Diaz did accept the fight with him.
So why did that not go down?
Who knows? Who knows, man? He's going to end up fighting somebody, and it might even be him. It might even be Khamzat. So we'll see how this whole thing plays out.
I was going to say,
that's the problem. All this, BS goes on back and forth on Instagram and social media, and you know what I mean. And that's why I don't play into any of this stuff. And everybody wants to ask me, why did he say this, or why is this going on? Listen, if I owe these guys 3 fights a year. If I wasn't honoring my contract, we'd be paying Nate to not fight. So once we get a fight done with him, we'll get it over. He's either going to, I don't know, stick with us, or he's going to go on and fight somebody else after his UFC career.